The night was heavy with silence, the kind of silence that feels alive, like something waiting in the dark. The moon hung low over the little village of Ntage, its light spilling across the tall palm trees and the small mud houses with their thatched roofs. Even the crickets seemed quieter than usual, as if they too feared to break the night. At the edge of the village, beyond the yam farms and near the old iroko tree, there was a banana tree that people whispered about. Its leaves were larger than any banana tree in the land, and its trunk shone faintly when the moonlight touched it. But what made it different, what made it feared, was the fruit it bore. While other banana trees carried bunches of green and yellow fruits, this one carried a single golden banana. Not yellow, not brown, not even the pale green of unripe fruit, but gold. Its skin glimmered as if the sun had been trapped inside it. During the day, it sparkled like fire. At night, it glowed softly like an ember that never died. The villagers believed it was a gift from the spirits. The elders warned the young ones never to touch it, never to even stand too close. That fruit does not belong to man, they would say around the fire in the evenings. It belongs to those who walk when the world sleeps. Children grew up hearing stories of hunters who tried to pluck it and never returned. They said the spirits who guarded the fruit were not cruel, but they were possessive. They allowed no human hand to touch what was theirs. Yet, for all the warnings, there was always one person curious enough to wonder, one person restless enough to question. That person was a young man named Okechukwu. Okechukwu was tall and strong, with eyes that always carried fire. He was a farmer like his late father, but farming never satisfied him. He dreamed of something greater, something that would make people remember his name long after he was gone. The golden banana called to him. Each time he walked past the tree, his heart beat faster. It seemed to whisper to him, tempting him with thoughts of wealth, power, and glory. He imagined carrying it to the king's palace, where the sight of such a fruit would make him rich. He imagined traders from faraway lands coming to see the miracle. He imagined himself as the man who dared to do what others feared. His mother, Mama Ijoma, noticed the way he stared at the tree. She was a small woman with kind eyes, but her voice carried strength when she spoke. One evening, as the family ate roasted yam by the fire, she said to him, "Okechukwu, I have seen the way your eyes wander to that tree. Leave it. No good will come from what belongs to the spirits." But Okechukwu only smiled and shook his head. "Mama, what if the spirits placed it there for someone brave enough to take it? What if it is a test?" His younger sister, Neka, gasped. "Brother, don't speak such words. That fruit has been there since before you were born. If it was meant for man, someone would have taken it by now." The old women in the village often said the golden banana was a bridge between worlds. They said the spirits used it to come into the land of the living, to taste, to watch, and to walk among men unseen. Every festival, the elders would pour palm wine at the foot of the tree, asking the spirits for peace. But Okechukwu did not care for those tales. He had grown tired of the quiet life. He wanted change. One night, when the moon was full and the air was cool, Okechukwu walked alone to the edge of the forest. His footsteps were soft against the earth, and the only sound was the beating of his heart. The golden banana glowed brighter than ever before, as if waiting for him. He stood before it, trembling but determined. His hand rose slowly, his breath sharp in his chest. But just as his fingers brushed against the glowing skin of the banana, the air around him shifted. The leaves rustled though no wind blew. The earth felt heavy beneath his feet. And then, from the shadows beneath the great iroko tree, shapes began to appear. They were tall, taller than any man, with faces hidden by masks carved from wood and painted with strange patterns. Their bodies shimmered like smoke, yet their footsteps pressed into the ground. Their eyes glowed like fireflies. Okechukwu froze, his hand still hovering near the fruit. He wanted to run, but his legs would not obey. The spirits had come. One of them stepped forward, its voice like the sound of drums echoing through a cave. Son of man, do you know what you touch? Okechukwu swallowed hard, fear gripping his throat. It is just a fruit, he whispered. The spirits laughed, a sound that filled the night and made the trees shake. Not just a fruit. This is the key between your world and ours. It feeds not the body, but the bond between man and spirit. Okachukwu's eyes widened. His heart pounded. Yet even in that moment, greed whispered to him. Then it is powerful, he said, his voice steadier now. And I will be the one to claim it. The spirits grew silent. The glow of the banana paused, brighter and brighter, until the whole clearing was bathed in golden light. And that was the night the balance between the world of men and the world of spirits began to change. The golden light burned into Okachukwu's eyes, forcing him to cover his face. The spirits surrounded him, their steps slow, deliberate, like dancers in a ritual. The air smelled of smoke, though no fire burned. The earth trembled beneath his feet, as if the ground itself was listening to their words. The spirit who had spoken first raised a long wooden staff carved with strange markings. You dare, it said, to claim what does not belong to man. Okachukwu's chest heaved as he tried to summon courage. Why should the fruit of the earth not belong to the children of the earth? He asked boldly. If the banana grows here, if it ripens here, then surely it is for us. The spirits murmured, their voices blending into something like the buzzing of thousands of bees. The leader spirit's eyes glowed brighter, and its voice carried anger now. You speak with pride, son of man. But pride blinds. Okechukwu swallowed hard. His heart told him to run, but another part of him, the part that had always dreamed of greatness, refused to back down. He stretched out his hand again, determined to pluck the golden banana. The moment his fingers closed around it, the ground split open with a crack that echoed through the night. A cry rose from the tree itself, like the wail of a woman in pain. Okechukwu staggered back as a rush of cold wind swept through him. The banana came free, glowing even brighter now, filling his palm with heat. The spirits roared. Some beat their staffs against the ground, others raised their arms to the sky. The air filled with their fury. Yet none of them touched him. They only watched. Foolish man, the leader spirit said. What you hold is no blessing. It is a burden. You have broken the seal. Now the path is open. Before Okechukwu could reply, the spirits vanished into smoke, swallowed by the night. The golden banana dimmed in his hand, no longer glowing but heavy, almost too heavy to carry. He stood trembling, staring at the fruit that had changed everything. When he returned to the village at dawn, the people gathered around him in shock. Children pointed at the banana in his hand, women covered their mouths in fear. The elders arrived quickly, their faces grave. Okechukwu, what have you done? One of them asked. I have done what no man dared to do, Okechukwu replied with pride. I have brought down the fruit of the spirits. It is ours now. The elder shook his head. You do not understand. That fruit was not a gift. It was a bond. The spirits walked here in peace because the fruit stood as their anchor. By taking it, you have broken the peace. But Okechukwu only smiled. Elders, you speak of fear. But I see fortune. Traders from beyond the river will pay gold for this banana. The king himself will reward me. Why should we live in fear when wealth lies in our hands? The people murmured, divided. Some were awed by his courage. Others trembled at what it meant. But it was not long before strange things began to happen. That night, the dogs in the village howled without rest. The wind carried whispers no one could understand. Shadows moved across the walls of huts though no fire burned nearby. Chickens dropped dead in their coops, and babies cried without reason. Mama Ijeoma wept when she saw the banana lying in her son's hut, glowing faintly again as though alive. My son, she said, holding his hands tightly. Throw it away. Take it back to where you found it, before it is too late. But Okechukwu pulled his hands away. No, Mama. This is my path. This is how I will be remembered. That night, Okechukwu dreamed. In the dream, he stood before a vast river, its waters black as oil. Across the river, masked figures watched him, their eyes glowing. One of them spoke, "You have taken what ties us here. Now we will walk freely. And you, son of man, will bear the curse." He woke up drenched in sweat, the golden banana lying beside him. Its glow was stronger than before. He wanted to push it away, but when he tried, his hand froze. It was as if his body refused to let go. Days passed, and the village grew restless. Every night, strange figures were seen moving in the shadows, their masks glowing faintly. Fires refused to stay lit. Palm wine soured in the calabashes. The elders knew the balance had been broken. They called Okechukwu before the council. The oldest elder, his hair white as cotton, spoke firmly. "You must return the fruit to the spirits. It cannot stay in the land of men." Okechukwu laughed bitterly. "Return it. After I risked everything to take it. No. I will go to the king's palace and present it as my triumph. Let the spirits come if they wish. I do not fear them." The elders shook their heads. "Pride will destroy you." That night, Okechukwu set off with the golden banana tied in a cloth, determined to reach the king's palace in the city. But as he walked into the forest path, the wind rose again, carrying voices. The trees creaked as though alive. The path grew darker though the moon was full. And then, from the shadows, they appeared. The spirits. Dozens of them. Their masks gleamed in the moonlight, their bodies moving like smoke. They circled him, their eyes fixed on the bundle he carried. The leader spirit stepped forward again. "You carry our bond. You cannot escape us." Okechukwu gripped the banana tighter, his heart racing. "I will not give it back," he shouted into the night. "It is mine now." The spirits drew closer, their whispers filling his head until it felt as though it would split. The golden banana paused in his hand, brighter, hotter, almost burning him. He screamed but refused to let go. And in that moment, Okechukwu understood what the spirits meant. The fruit was no prize. It was a chain. And now, it was binding him to them. The forest was alive with whispers. Okechukwu staggered forward, clutching the golden banana that burned in his palm. The spirits circled him, their masks gleaming, their eyes glowing like fireflies trapped in glass. Their voices layered over one another, rising and falling, until the sound was like drums echoing through his skull. "You are bound," they said. "You are marked. The fruit is ours, and now, so are you." Okechukwu dropped to his knees, sweat pouring from his face. He wanted to throw the banana away, to cast it back into the darkness. But no matter how hard he tried, his hand refused to release it. It was as though invisible threads tied the fruit to his flesh. The spirits drew closer. One leaned in, its mask carved with spirals that seemed to move in the moonlight. "Return it to the tree, or you will bring sorrow not only upon yourself but upon all your people." But even as the warning echoed in his ears, Okachukwu's pride flared. He had come too far to return empty-handed. With a shaky breath, he pushed himself to his feet. "No," he whispered hoarsely. "This fruit will make me great. You cannot stop me." The spirits stepped back, their voices falling silent. Slowly, one by one, they melted into the shadows, leaving only the sound of the night. But before they vanished completely, the leader spoke again. "Then your village will taste what you have chosen." By the time Okechukwu returned to Ntage, dawn was breaking. He staggered into the village square, pale and trembling, but still holding the golden banana. The people gathered quickly, whispering in fear. They had seen strange figures moving through the village all night, their masks flickering in the moonlight. An elder approached him. "Did the spirit speak to you?" Okachukwu's lips were dry, his eyes wild. "They cannot harm me," he said, forcing a smile. "This fruit is mine, and with it, I will bring wealth to us all." But as he spoke, a scream tore through the village. Everyone turned to see Mama Obil's hut. Smoke poured out from the thatch, though no fire had been lit. Inside, her youngest child thrashed on the ground, his body cold, his lips turning blue. The elders rushed to him, chanting prayers, but it was too late. The boy's chest stilled. He was gone. The people gasped. A mother wailed. All eyes turned to Okechukwu and the golden banana glowing faintly in his hand. "This is no gift," one elder said bitterly. "It is death." But Okechukwu refused to listen. He marched to his hut, shut the door, and placed the banana in a calabash wrapped with cloth. He told himself the spirits were only trying to frighten him. He told himself he could still control the fruit. That night, however, the village was not the same. The moon rose, but its light was swallowed by shadows. Dogs barked and ran in circles, chasing things no one could see. Goats broke free of their ropes and scattered into the bush. Children woke screaming, saying masked figures stood at their doors. By midnight, the village square was filled with people, too afraid to sleep in their huts. They built a fire and sat together, whispering prayers. Mama Ijeoma sat apart, her face heavy with sorrow. She watched her son's hut with eyes full of dread. She knew this was the beginning of something dark. Inside, Okechukwu lay restless. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the river from his dreams. On the other side, the spirits watched him, waiting. The golden banana pulsed faintly from inside the calabash, filling the hut with a glow. It whispered to him in voices that were not his own. "Okechukwu," the whisper said. "Carry us further. Take us beyond. Let us walk where we could not walk before." He covered his ears, but the voices were inside his head. His body trembled with fear, yet his pride kept him chained. He told himself he was still in control. But deep down, he knew he was no longer the master of his fate. By morning, the village was in chaos. 3 more people had fallen sick in the night, their eyes glazed, their breath shallow. They muttered in strange voices that did not belong to them. The elders gathered and declared that the spirits had entered the village fully. "It is the fruit," one said. "As long as it remains in Tej, our people will suffer." They sent a group of young men to Okechukwu's hut to take it from him. But when they entered, they found the calabash empty. The golden banana was gone. Okechukwu had vanished as well. Some said he had run into the forest to hide. Others believed the spirits had taken him. But Mama Ijeoma wept in silence. She knew her son had chosen his path, and now he was bound to it. As night fell again, the shadows grew thicker. The spirits no longer hid in the forest. They walked boldly through the village, their masked faces glowing in the moonlight. Doors rattled, voices echoed, and the people of Ntej knew their world had changed. The golden banana was no longer just a fruit. It was a key. And Okechukwu had opened the door. The forest swallowed Okechukwu whole. He ran without rest, branches tearing at his clothes, thorns biting into his skin. His breath came in ragged gasps, but still he clutched the golden banana, its glow searing into his palm. It whispered as he ran, voices rising and falling like waves. "Okechukwu, you are ours now, take us beyond." He stumbled into a clearing and collapsed on the damp earth, chest heaving. For the first time, he looked at the fruit not with pride but with terror. Its light flickered like a heartbeat, as though it was alive. He tried again to throw it away, but his arm froze, his fingers locked around it. Tears burned his eyes. He whispered, "What have I done?" The trees rustled though no wind blew. Slowly, figures emerged, spirits again, masks gleaming faintly, their bodies like shadows given form. They did not attack him, but they surrounded him, humming softly in voices that shook his bones. One stepped forward, its mask carved with the shape of a crocodile. "You are marked," it said. "As long as the fruit stays with you, you will carry us. We will walk through you. You are the path." Okechukwu trembled. "Then take it. Take it back." The spirits laughed, their voices sharp like broken gods. "You cannot give back what you have claimed. To return it is to return your life." He froze. "My life?" "Yes," they said as one. "Your breath for the fruit. Your blood for the bond." Okechukwu fell to the ground, covering his ears. But the voices remained echoing inside his skull. He was trapped. Meanwhile, back in Tej, the village fell deeper into darkness. The people no longer dared to walk at night. Fires went out without reason, and food spoiled before it could be eaten. Babies were born weak, and elders coughed blood into their mouths. The elders gathered under the old Iroko tree, their faces heavy. "The boy has carried the curse into the forest," one said. "But the spirits do not stay in one place. They will return until the fruit is restored." Mama Ijeoma stood before them, tears on her cheeks. "He is my son," she said softly, "but he is also the cause of this sorrow. If he does not return, I will go after him." The elders shook their heads. "The forest belongs to the spirits now. No one who enters will come back whole." But a voice rose from the crowd. It was Neka, Okechukwu's younger sister. Her eyes blazed with determination. "Then I will go. If he is lost, I will find him. If he is cursed, I will share it. No blood of this village should stand alone." The people murmured, but Mama Ijeoma caught her daughter's hands and held them tightly. "Child, you do not understand the danger." But Neka only looked at her mother with calm strength. "Mama, the danger has already come to us. If we do nothing, it will consume us all." And so, before dawn, Neka set out into the forest, carrying only a calabash of water and a small gourd filled with palm oil. She followed the broken branches and footprints her brother had left behind, her heart steady even as the forest grew darker with every step. Okechukwu, meanwhile, wandered deeper. He no longer knew which way was north or south. The forest twisted around him, paths bending where they should not. Sometimes he heard his name whispered on the wind, other times he saw glowing eyes in the shadows. At night, he dreamed of the river again. Always the river. On the far side, the spirits stood waiting, their masks endless, their eyes like stars. They raised their hands, calling him. And always, the golden banana paused in his hand like a second heart. On the third day, Neka found him. He was sitting beneath a tree, his face pale, his eyes hollow. His clothes were torn, and he looked as though he had aged years in only hours. "Brother," she whispered, kneeling beside him. Okechukwu lifted his head slowly, his lips trembling. "Neka, you should not be here. They follow me. They live inside me now." She reached for his hand, but the golden banana flared, forcing her to pull back. The glow lit his face, and she saw the truth. His veins glowed faintly beneath his skin, as if the fruit's light was spreading into him. "I cannot let it go," he said, his voice breaking. "It holds me." Neka's eyes filled with tears, but she steadied her voice. "Then let me help you. If the spirits gave you this curse, perhaps the spirits can take it back. We must go to the old tree. We must return the fruit." Okechukwu shook his head. "They said to return it is to return my life. If I place it back, I will die." Neka grasped his shoulders, forcing him to look at her. "And if you don't, the whole village will die. Mama will die. Our people will vanish into shadow." What is one life compared to many? Okachukwu's eyes shone with conflict. His pride screamed at him to hold on to the fruit, to hold on to the dream of greatness. But his sister's words pierced him, soft yet sharp. For the first time, he thought not of himself but of his people. The spirits stirred then, their shadows thickening around the trees. Masks gleamed in the half-light, voices humming low. The air grew colder, heavier. You cannot escape, they whispered. Choose, Okechukwu. Yourself or your people. The fruit or the tree. Nneka rose, her body trembling but her eyes fierce. Then let us choose for them both. Hand in hand, she pulled her brother toward the path that led back to the old Iroko tree, the place where it all began. But the spirits followed. The forest was thick with shadows as Okechukwu and Nneka walked hand in hand. The golden banana burned in his palm, its light pulsing like a heartbeat. All around them, the spirits followed masked figures moving without sound, their glowing eyes fixed on the fruit. The path seemed endless. Trees bent toward them as though listening, and the earth itself groaned under their steps. Every now and then, Okechukwu stumbled, weakened by the weight of the fruit and the whispers inside his head. But Nneka held him firmly, refusing to let him fall. Brother, she whispered, the spirits do not own you. You still have a choice. Okechukwu shook his head weakly. No, Nneka. I feel them inside me. Every step I take, they grow stronger. If I put the fruit back, I will die. Her grip tightened. Then let it be your sacrifice. Better one death than the death of a whole people. Tears filled Okachukwu's eyes, though he tried to blink them away. His pride, once so loud, now lay broken inside him. He thought of his mother's face, of the children who cried in the night, of the boy who had died when the curse first fell. For the first time, he saw the truth. His search for greatness had only brought sorrow. At last, they reached the clearing. The old Iroko tree stood tall, its bark rough and ancient, its branches spread wide as though guarding the land. At its foot stood the cursed banana tree, still glowing faintly though its golden fruit was gone. The spirits closed in, forming a wide circle around the siblings. Their masks gleamed, their voices rising in a deep hum that shook the ground. Nneka pushed her brother gently forward. It must end here. Okechukwu stood before the banana tree, the fruit burning in his hand. His knees shook, his breath came fast. He knew this was the moment. Either he held on and doomed them all, or he let go and lost his life. The leader spirit stepped forward, its mask carved with the face of a lion. Return it, and the path will close. But you will not return with it. Okechukwu looked at Nneka. Her eyes were steady, full of courage and love. Do it, brother, she said softly. Do it for us. He lifted the fruit with trembling hands. It glowed brighter, hotter, until it burned his skin. The voices inside him screamed, urging him to hold on, to claim power, to defy the spirits. But Okechukwu shook his head. No, he whispered. I will not be your slave. With a final cry, he pressed the golden banana back onto the tree. The ground split with a deafening crack. Light burst from the tree, flooding the clearing in gold so bright it blinded them. The spirits screamed, their voices like thunder, their masks shattering into dust. One by one, they vanished into smoke, drawn back into the world beyond. Okechukwu fell to his knees, the light pouring through him. His body shook violently, his breath short. Nneka rushed to his side, clutching his shoulders. Brother, stay with me. But he only smiled weakly. Nneka, tell Mama. I did not leave her in shame. Tell her. I chose our people. His body grew still, his eyes closing softly. The glow faded from his skin, leaving him silent in his sister's arms. The golden banana turned dark, its shine gone, and crumbled into dust that scattered with the wind. The cursed tree stood empty, never to bear fruit again. When Neko returned to the village, carrying her brother's body, the people wept. But as dawn broke, they saw the shadows had lifted. The dogs no longer howled, the children slept peacefully, and the air was free of whispers. The curse was broken. Mama Ijeoma held her son and wept until her voice was gone, but her tears carried pride as well as sorrow. He was lost, she said softly, but in the end, he found his way back. From that day, the story of the golden banana was told across Ntage and beyond. Parents warned their children of the dangers of pride and greed, of reaching for what belongs not to man but to the spirits. And yet, they also told of Okechukwu, the young man who was foolish enough to take the fruit, but brave enough to give his life to return it. The tree never bore fruit again. The spirits never walked the village again. And every time the moon shone on the old Iroko, the people remembered. For in the land of men, some fruits were meant to feed the body. But in the land of spirits, some fruits fed the balance between worlds. And woe to the man who tried to eat both.